From modern takes on the classic RPG to action-infused scaling open worlds, the role-playing genre continues to capture the hearts and minds of gamers looking to explore the gamut of strong narratives, cool characters, and mighty mechanics.
This video is brought to you by Answerly, a question platform that pays you for adding high-quality answers on different questions. The users are rewarded in Answerly tokens, which they can easily convert into dollars or any other cryptocurrency by using one of the exchanges mentioned in the description.
Hello and welcome to our YouTube channel. In today's video, we'll be talking about the top 15 massive upcoming Souls-like action RPG games of 2022. Role-playing games have come a long way since we were slaughtering slimes in Dragon Warrior, hunting for the Rat Tail in Final Fantasy, and being endlessly wiped from wandering into the wrong tile in the Bard's Tale. While the genre umbrella is now wider than ever as more games over the last decade have embraced progression systems, character classes and jobs, and choice and consequence, RPG experiences have never been available in so many forms. Here are the top 15 massive upcoming Souls-like action RPG games of 2022. Rune Factory 5. If you're a series veteran, it looks delightfully the same, but with modern upgrades on Switch. If you're a newcomer, Rune Factory is a farm sim that adds more in-depth combat options and lengthy dungeons to explore. It's also full of romance, and this entry will be the first time in the series you can romance characters that share your avatar's gender. Rune Factory 5 is already out in Japan, so there's plenty of footage of the game in action floating about. Just be careful not to spoil too much for yourself while you're gushing over its dreamy cast. Before we move on to the next massive upcoming Souls-like action RPG games of 2022, smash that subscribe button and click that notification bell right now because you will surely find something that is suitable for you. Undergrave. Undergrave is a roguelike that reminds a little Red Ronin, but with addition of HP, stamina, and skills to utilize on the square grid maps. As for the story, we must save our beloved one and go down into the Void Realm and complete the Trial of Resurrection, just announced a few days ago. Undergrave has no release date yet. Mountain Blade 2 Bannerlord. Mountain Blade 2 Bannerlord is a full-fledged sequel to a popular game series that combines elements of action, strategy, and RPG. This title was created by the authors of the original game and its many expansions, Turkish studio Tale Worlds. The game is set 200 years before the events depicted in Mountain Blade Warband, in a mighty realm of Calradia, whose king died without having a rightful heir. Anarchy spread across the land and trade routes became plagued by bandits, nomads, and mercenaries. Fortunately for the country standing on the brink of collapse, the player steps in. The role of the protagonist is to find his place in this complex political situation, subdue defiant nobles, and restore the former glory to the land as a leader of one of 6 available factions. Mahkanshi. If you are in deck-building games, Mahkanshi by Game Source Studio is surely for you. You are a samurai mage who must defend the Celestial Islands from demons with the use of cards. Exploration happens on hex grid maps, something that at first look reminds you of games like Civilizations or For the Kings, and all happens here, even the battles. In fact, during the explorations you can use your cards on enemies and even cards for covering more hexes. Nobody Saves the World. Nobody Saves the World is the next project to come out of Drinkbox Studios, the creators of Guacamelee, and plans to dive deep into shape-shifting game mechanics. It sees you attempting to prevent a great calamity from unfolding by exploring a colorful world and completing tasks using a combination of 15+ distinct forms. By mixing and matching each hero's abilities, ranging from rats to rogues to robots and everything in between, you'll unlock new powers and synergies to aid you in your quest. War Tales. In War Tales, we find ourselves in a fictional world inspired by medieval Europe. 100 years ago, a plague led to the downfall of the Edoran Empire, which dominated over other countries. Since then, the former superpower has plunged into chaos. Law and honor have long become meaningless slogans, and people will stop at nothing to survive. To make matters worse, the inhabitants still have to deal with this terrible disease, which does not kill the infected, but causes them a veritable wolf's hunger for meat. If not satisfied in time, its victims gradually lose their senses and become something like zombies. Makai Kingdom Reclaimed and Rebound. Makai Kingdom Reclaimed and Rebound is a remake of this Gaia spin-off Makai Kingdom Chronicles of the Sacred Tome by Nippon Ichi, released on PS2 last March 17, 2005. The game features new characters and a new story not present in the PS2 version. The combat system, well known to all Final Fantasy Tactics and Disc Gaia lovers, features different unit types to summon onto isometric battle maps and even vehicles. Makai Kingdom Reclaimed and Rebound will be published on Switch and PC during spring 2022. Bravely Default 2. The team that brought you gems like the Bravely Default games and Octopath Traveler is back with yet another modern old-school JRPG with tons of monsters to fight, deadly bosses to battle, and classes to unlock and master. The Bravely Default games channel the spirit of the past with plenty of today's trappings. If you can't wait for this old meets the new amalgamation of styles and sensibility, you won't have to wait long, as Bravely Default 2 lands on Switch February 26. Shiroth Shards. Shiroth Shards by Team Game is a strategy game with a pinch of RPGs and card mechanics. We must face and solve palace intrigues by completing quests inside the different shards. Inside each shard, you will find cities and lots of points of interest and obviously quests to solve. Jack Move. Jack Move is a pixel art JRPG that draws inspiration from the classic Mega Man Battle Network games while retelling an original cyberpunk story. In it, you take on the role of Noah, a rogue hacker who finds herself thrust into a world of murder, kidnapping, and twisted research after her father mysteriously disappears. Combat is turn-based and provides countless opportunities to devise unique strategies by customizing Noah's cyberdeck mid-battle. This allows her to switch roles and adjust her mix of offense, defense, and buffs in combination with hardware upgrades that increase stats and unlock new abilities. LX2. LX2 is the sequel to LX, the vintage open-world role-playing experiences. From the award-winning creators of the Gothic and Risen series, Piranha Bytes, LX2 returns to the post-apocalyptic science fantasy world of Magalan, with massive environments that can be explored with unrivaled freedom via jetpack. You'll be able to move through the epic story any way you want. Bleak Fate Forsaken. Explore the last remnants of civilization in this vast, unforgiving, and interconnected world. Learn what is left of its history, discover pockets of civilization in the perpetually expanding omni-structure. Lose yourself in a journey unlike any other. Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. Embark on an epic adventure full of whimsy, wonder, and high-powered weaponry. Roll down your own multi-class hero, then shoot, loot, slash, and cast on a quest to stop the Dragon Lord. Brock the Investigator. Brock is a narrative-driven game that blends action, investigation, and never-before-seen ways. Will you use your brain or your brawn? In a futuristic, light cyberpunk world where animals have replaced humans, privileged citizens live under a dome protected from the ambient pollution, while others struggle to make a living outside of its protective dome. And finally, at top 1, Hogwarts Legacy. The gameplay in Hogwarts Legacy is all about exploring the magical castle and its surroundings. The player has a lot of freedom of movement thanks to the open living world. As we play the role of a student, an indispensable part of the game is to attend classes in elixirs, herbalism, spells, defense against dark arts, or care for magical creatures. Many of the best role-playing games are massive time sinks that require upwards of hundreds of hours to complete. That's a big commitment for a lot of gamers, which is probably why so many RPGs end up in the growing pile of games we swear we'll get around to someday. Do you love role-playing games? Let us know your thoughts about this video in the comments section below.
If you like this video, make sure to smash the like button and subscribe to this channel. To learn more about Answerly and Answerly tokens, check out the links in the description.